everybody, this is Desiree with Whisper Creek Designs, and today we are making the Beachcomber Anklet. This is made by braiding several strands of twine, sewing a bunch of really cool findings like you would on the beach, and then attaching some turquoise yarn to the end to make it a great reminder of the beach. So we're going to start by having 9 strands of twine. Each one is going to be about 6 to 9 inches. They should go all the way around your ankle, or if you would like them longer so you could do a double wrap, you can make them about 11 inches long. So we're going to start by separating 3. Well, we started by taping the top of the strands to the work surface so that we can start braiding. And I'm just going to put 6 of them to the side and braid 3 of them. If you've never braided before, you're going to take the outside strands and just put them over to the middle. And tightening it up just a little bit. So that's the outside strand going to the middle, and it just popped out, so that's great. My tape does not stick well to the board I'm using, so I'm just going to use a little extra. And the devotional today with this craft is about walking with Jesus and walking with God. And Jesus spent time on the beach in Galilee. That's where he called Peter and Andrew. So we're just taking those strands and working them to the middle. To the middle, to the middle, to the middle. And we're just going to work all the way down. And we're almost to the end of the first row. And the twine does not unravel very easily, so you can just leave it and we'll tighten it up in just a moment. So the rest of the ones we have, there should be 6 left. And you'll do the same exact braid, but just hold 2 strands together at the same time. And the tape is coming off again. And just working 2 strands to the middle, 2 strands to the middle. And this makes a slightly thicker braid. This is the braid that we're going to sew our beach treasures onto. And you can get a thicker twine or a thinner twine, but I recommend the thinner twine so that when you're sewing, you have more little crevices to put beads in. You can use the bigger twine, but then your small braid is just going to be about the thickness of one piece of twine. So I recommend doing the thinner one and then doing a small braid and a bigger braid. So now we're getting to the end of the bigger braid. And we're also going to just go right to the end and leave it. And then I'm going to turn both braids, keeping them taped together lengthwise. So this braided part is going to be the entire part that has the beads and the shells and the seeds on it. And so if at this point you want to be making it smaller, I'm just gonna tape this over here. But if you want to make it smaller, at this point you can tape it farther down the braid so it's, you know, a couple inches in, and then your sewn part will be smaller. Just tightening this up. And we're going to get our beads and shells and seeds ready. And take your needle. And the amount of thread you need, we're going to work with 2 layers of thread, or the thread doubled over. So you'll just take 2 lengths of however long you end up making yours, and a little extra. It's always good to have extra to be able to wrap around the ends and to be able to knot it. Just gonna cut it here. Alright, and we're gonna thread through the eye. And we'll double the thread over. Just evening up the ends. Perfect. And then to start, we're going to basically sew the small braid to the big braid so that they're connected. And we're not going to knot the thread yet. I'm going to leave a couple inches just off the end, so just make sure that that does not pull all the way through. And we're just going to double up through there and go through the little braid at the same time. And working it back through, just choose a different edge of the twine to go through so it doesn't pop back out the same hole. And basically what we're doing is just connecting the end of the anklet. We're going to make sure it's tight. It's a little bit short, but we're going to go ahead and we'll just add more later. And tightening that up. So now we're just going to... Oh, there we go. Just checking the length again. And I'm going to try to get some extra length on here, but honestly, you can just leave it and then we'll show you how to knot it. And then basically here I'm trying to gain a little bit more thread length because I left more than a few inches, so we're going to continue to knot the end and just weave it back and forth. And we're ready to add the beads. So the bead adding is pretty much up to your creativity. As far as the color pattern, if you want to do a pattern or if you don't, and we'll just be sewing the beads onto the larger braid. Just putting it in there. Stick. And you want to do 2 to 3 of them at a time. 2 to 3 beads at a time. And just alternating whatever ones are your favorite or whatever patterns you like the best. Oh, just pulling that out of the thread. And we're going to do one of these Wagnerite chips. They kind of look like turquoise. They're not turquoise, but they're very pretty. And they look like something sometimes I find at the beach, depending on where you're at. And if it gets stuck, just give it a little twist and tighten it down. Because we're working with 2 threads, it's going to help in case the bead pulls or anything else, that it's not just going to have one thread to go through. And that's important because it'll be stronger, and you just want to make sure that the beads don't wiggle around too much. Just testing it. And we're going to use one of the white ones with some of these little purple ones. Oh! Oh my goodness. There we go. And then just going in kind of keeping it in the middle of the braid. It doesn't have to be exactly in the middle each time, but it does help. Oh, this was coming up. And so we're just going to alternate. I kind of do pattern. I think I'm going to add a shell next. And all the shells are natural shells, so you can choose, you know, your favorite ones to go on, because depending on what you choose to do, I like this little zigzaggy one. Depending on what you choose to do, you might use all of your shells, you might use another one, and you know, you might even be able to get 2 bracelets out of it, depending on how long they are. So you could have one for you and one for a friend. We're just going to continue to add those until we run out of thread. I really like this design because it reminded me of like little treasures you find at the beach. And I'm always, even since I was young, I'd just be looking for cute little rocks and tiny pebbles and tiny little flakes of agates and all sorts of different things at the beach. Cute shells. Sometimes I can find like the little green shells. And just going in with the thread. You just want to kind of keep it in the middle because that'll keep the strongest way to keep it on is to keep them in the middle-ish. Sometimes when you get one of the little purple beads with made beads, the holes aren't always the same width in the middle of the bead. So if it gets stuck on your the eye of the needle and won't go, it's best just to put that one to the side. That one isn't working for now, and you may have to use that one with a thinner needle later on, but most of them should fit on this size of needle. And our thread is getting pretty short, so what I'm gonna do is come up again really close to where we came out. Going to what is going on? Okay, there we go. I'm trying to figure out if I have enough thread to get to the end and realizing I do not, so I need to change it out. One of the things I like the least about any sewing project is changing out my thread, but it's necessary. So what we're going to do is pull the needle down one side of the two pieces, cut the end, and then just unwinding the other side. And then with this one, we're going to go in just one of the strand. Oh, I guess we're going all the way through the middle, taking it all the way off the needle, and then we're going to knot these two sections. We're just doing an overhand knot, cross them, and then tuck that under. Perfect. And then a double knot, just like double knotting a shoelace. Most of you know that, unless you're very little. And if you're a little person watching this, good job. And I'm sure you have an adult. You should have an adult around to help you with this. And just a third one for good measure. Now we're getting our next. So we're gonna do just the same as we did in the beginning. And just how I'm just giving myself a lot of extra because I don't have to stop again. So trimming that. Putting it on the needle. And just going to line up the bottoms of the threads again. Coming up right where we left off. And leaving a couple inches off the end. And we're going to take the ends of our last threads together and our new threads together and do the overhand knot again, a double knot. This one. So that secures our place where we ended our old thread. It's knotted and it's knotted with our new thread in the same spot. Just evening those out by pulling where the needle is. I'm just trying to tuck these down a little bit You don't have to, but it just makes it a little bit neater. And just going to go back up again. And just trimming both the ends down, not all the way to the knot because you don't want the knot to come out. Also, if you want the knot to be super, super strong, you can always, this is 100% cotton thread, so you can't burn it like you can if it was an acrylic thread. You could burn it a little bit and it'll melt down, melt the knots into a lump basically. But with this one, if you want to, you can either take a little bit of super glue and dot it right on where the knot is, or you can take a little bit of clear nail polish and dot it right where the dot is. And then you'll just want to let it dry for a few seconds before you start beading again. But that, it's optional. It's not necessary, but I guess if you're planning on a lot of wear and tear on it and using it a lot where it might get some rough treatment, or if you're giving it to a friend, or, and I don't know, they're crazy beach people and they like getting all crazy in the water, that might be a good idea, but you don't have to. And I put the shell on there, but I can still see the little bit of the end of the thread. So I just went back and put another bead right over the top of where the knot was to cover it up. That's definitely an option. Pretty much anything is an option with this. You can totally use, your imagination if you wanted to do. I kind of have like a seed turquoise shell pattern with a little few sprinkled in, but you don't have to use a pattern, and you don't have to do what I did. You can do whatever your favorite beads are. And we're about a little over halfway done. We're just going to continue to the end. We're almost to the end. Just want a couple more of these purples. Ah. That one is gone. Let's grab another one. These guys are sneaky sometimes. Alright. Okay. So, like we started at the beginning, where we put the two braids together, we're going to do the same thing. Just go back and forth a couple times through the small and the large braid together to hold them together. And just pulling snugly after each stitch just to keep it tight. And if you're worried about the stitches coming out from the ends, you can always use super glue on that section too. So we're just going, my thread's so short. We're just going to do the same thing that we used to switch the old thread out to the new thread, where you slide the needle down one side, clip where the needle used to be. Aha! Alright, so my thread is too short. I should have gotten more thread. And so, because the eye of the needle, well, actually, what am I doing here? What are you doing, girl? Oh. Oh, okay, this is actually not too bad. So, instead of tying it to, instead of going through the twine with the needle, I'm just wrapping it around one of the twines. So, putting a piece of the twine in between the two threads, then I'm going to do the two knots. Eventually here. Struggle bus, your driver is Desiree. So this is why you just get enough thread in the first place. Just get extra thread, don't be afraid. Don't make it crazy long, because then it'll have little knots in it, but just get a little extra than what you think you'll need. Because yeah, or you can deal with this like I am. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta improvise. Sometimes you gotta be like, oh, this isn't working. Let's try something else. Alright. Let's try and do one more. I was thinking about editing this out, but I feel like it's important to see why not to do certain things too. So let me know. Let me know if you want these parts edited out, because I totally can do that. But if you like to see me struggle when I don't do things properly, just let me know. Alright, well, we're done with our beads. There's quite a few left, so if you... Oh, If you want to make more, you totally can. Oh, goodness. They're rolling roly-poly everywhere. Okay. Alright, so we can take... Oh, I love how that came out. It's my favorite. So now we're going to make the parts that actually tie on your ankle. And the reason I made it an anklet was because the theme of the devotional is walking on the beach, and a lot of people are familiar with the footprints in the sand. Oh, so the yarn that you have in your kit, we're going to loop it around after it's doubled. Pulling it through. And don't pull too hard, just tighten it up gently. So that's why it's important to sew the two ends together. And we're just gonna braid. So it'll be 1, 1, and then 2 together. And just braiding all the way down. And I forget what I was talking about. Oh, walking on the beach. Walking on the beach. So there's a famous picture that's on a lot of different things. Of footprints in the sand. And it goes with a poem, actually. Let me see if I can find that poem. Yes. Okay. One night I dreamed I was walking along the beach with the Lord. Many scenes from my life flashed across the sky. In each scene, I noticed footprints in the sand. Sometimes there were 2 sets of footprints, other times there was 1 only. This bothered me because I noticed that during the low periods of my life, when I was suffering from anguish, sorrow, or defeat, I could see only 1 set of footprints. So I said to the Lord, "You promised me, Lord, that if I followed you, you would walk with me always. But I have noticed that during the most trying periods of my life, there has only been 1 set of footprints in the sand. Why, when I needed you most, have you not been there for me?" The Lord replied, "The years when you have seen only 1 set of footprints, my child, is when I carried you." This is a very famous poem. I don't know who it's written by. Let me see if I can find the author. So on here we're just knotting the end, just doing 1 overhand knot when you get to the end of the braid. And just tucking up. And this makes the tie for the anklet. Mary Stevenson wrote the poem. So we're just going to trim the ends here. And then the part that we sewed, also just going to trim that up so it's a little bit neater. You don't have to, but it makes it a little nicer. And I've got my threads here. kind of all cattywampus, but I'll try to untuck that one. Careful. I guess I'm just gonna trim it. I thought I was gonna untuck it. Trimming carefully. So, trimming it to about 1/2 inch. So it looks nice, but it's still functional without being too fluffy on the ends. As you use it, it'll fluff out a little bit, but yeah. That's one tie done. And you don't have to make the ties that long. That's just how long I liked to have around my ankle. But you can make them shorter. Alright, so we flipped it around back to the other side. I'm going to do the same thing for this side, except apparently not, because I'm trimming them first. So ignore what I just said. We're going to trim it first. I guess so it's a little bit easier to braid, because when I started the first time, the little ends kept going in where I was. That's my favorite shell. I like that one the best. Alright. My yarn is doubled up. This is cotton. And if you pull it through and the ends are uneven, just take a little bit of time and even those up before you do this part. Otherwise, your braid will be not all even to the end. And we're just gonna braid, putting it to the middle, edges to the middle. You're so pretty. Oh. We're gonna braid this one all the way to the end. And then we're at the end. We're going to knot a knot, overhand knot, just like the other side. Pull it through and trim the ends. Oh yeah, I'm lining up the knots just so that the ends are the same length. Boom. Getting rid of those tidbits there. And your anklet is done. You can also use it as a bracelet, but I made it an anklet to remind me of walking with the Lord. And Jesus spent time at the beach. He called Peter and Andrew, or Andrew and his brother, when they were fishing. He spent a lot of time at Galilee, which has the beach there. And through the good times and the hard times, he walks with us, and we walk with him. If you have a smaller ankle, you can double it up and it will look like that. Or if you make your bracelet longer, you can double it up even on your ankle and use that. I like the different it's all the different things that make up our lives, the little treasures that God brings us. Thank you for crafting with me today. I hope you really enjoy it, and I hope that you walk with God, walk with Jesus. And I will see you with the next one. Let me pray for you today before we go. Dear Lord, thank you so much for everyone watching today. Please bless them. Please help them to walk with you. Help them to know that you are with them. You are walking with them through hard times and carrying us. And you are walking with us through the good times too. Help us never to walk away from you and to spend time with you more, be in our Bibles, and read your word that you want to communicate to us. Help us to continue to seek you even when the water looks stormy, or the beach looks stormy, or when the beach looks sunny. Help us to love you more and more. Just bless the people watching and the people crafting. Bless their hands as they make and create, Lord, because you created them. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you have a great time crafting. I hope you're enjoying the springtime weather into summer, and I hope you have many great adventures for the summer. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.